Hey friends, welcome to my car. So what's the best way to switch out a bad habit to a good habit? And this is something I've noticed as an observer, as well as somebody who practices on both sides of this fence. And typically I notice there's a pattern followed for people that don't do this successfully, and then there's a different pattern followed for people who do this successfully. And so here's what it is. I've noticed, myself included, those of us that typically successfully long-term swap out a bad habit for a good habit, we are much more focused on our vision for what we want our lives to look like. And that seems to be the driving force behind it, if it's going to be successful or not. Because all of us knows a lot of people, including ourselves, who get engaged on something we know is better for ourselves than what we were doing before, but then we fall off after a couple days, a couple weeks, whatever. Quitting smoking cigarettes is one that comes to mind, like a common one. People don't usually last very long. There's very few people who do. People that, whatever it is that they want. So it's developing a vision that is so strong that it's actually bigger than whatever it is that sucks that we got to go through to make happen. So it's like the hard stuff is going to be up there and our vision is going to be up there. One of them is going to be bigger. So the one that's bigger is generally the one that wins. So the burden falls on our shoulders individually to build up a vision of what we want our life to look like that is just bigger than anything that could come our way that would suck, that could pull us off. And you're always either going to be pushed around by your circumstances or pulled by your vision. And we have control over our vision and the size of it and the meaningfulness of our vision. That's the one we have control over. We don't always have control over our circumstances. Sometimes we do, but sometimes stuff happens just at no fault or control of our own, and it's just the way that it is. But we have control over the size of our vision, right? If we're going to quit or not. So most people are very focused on like the mechanics of what it's going to take to swap out a bad habit for a good habit. And that doesn't seem to work out very well. They quit because there's no focus in building up that vision that pulls them. So they typically get tossed around like a rag doll by their circumstances. And we all know what that feels like. A circumstance happens, a tough phone call, and suddenly we're off the wagon, whatever that wagon was. I don't know. Lots of different wagons. But we didn't have that vision because we were focused on the mechanics. Funny thing about the vision, you might find easier ways of doing something mechanically, but driven by that vision. And let's say there is no easy way to do something and all you have is your vision. But still, at the end of the day, it's the vision that's going to be the driver behind it, if it's going to be a successful pattern change or an unsuccessful pattern change. It's all about the drive behind the vision. So with my students and with my classes, I always have a vision segment because I know that nobody's going to see anything through, whether it's a health goal, a financial goal, an emotional goal, a skill set goal, somebody wants to learn something. People are not going to see it through if they don't develop that vision. And here's two great questions you can ask yourself to develop a vision for whatever you want to do that's important to you. And that is, what do you want your life to look like? What do you want it to look like? What's it going to be like? And get detailed. Appeal to all 5 of your senses and get really graphic and detailed about it. And then the second question to ask yourself after you know what you want your life to look like, the second question to ask yourself is, how are you and others around you going to be affected by it? So the first question, when you ask, what do you want your life to look like? Most people will not answer that question honestly. They're going to do crazy mental gymnastics in their head that's going to pull them back. And it's going to be a very limited, very reserved answer, a very chicken shit answer, to be honest with you, because we're in the business of this auto protection that rips us off and others around us. So when you answer that question, do unfettered by small, limited thinking. Think big. Just go all out. And it's a nice little exercise of brainstorming. And in brainstorming, I mean, there's no limits on a true, genuine brainstorming exercise. So when you ask yourself, what do I want my life to look like? Write it down and just go all balls out, or all brass berries out if you're a woman. Just don't be reserved. Don't be a chicken shit about what you want, okay? And then that second question you can answer more easily, and that is, after you know what you want your life to be, how's that going to affect you? How's that going to affect others around you? How's it going to feel? What are you going to be able to do that you can't do now that you could do once you get there? And then you can start answering those questions. And if those answers are big enough and you have enough meaningfulness to those answers, I'm such a wordsmith, aren't I? And it's just bigger than whatever is hard about switching patterns, then you're going to win. If whatever it is that's hard about switching habits is bigger than your vision and the meaningfulness you have to your vision, then your circumstances are going to win, and you'll continue to be that ragdoll just tossed around in the wind. And when the wind changes directions, you're going to be tossed in that direction, then another direction, then maybe slammed against a wall. I don't know. It's all kinds of crazy stuff like that. But here's what most people do that. You want to kind of keep this in the forefront of your mind so you don't fall into this trap of what most people fall into, and that is the mental gymnastics. I'll give you the most common examples we all hear about all the time, and we've all done them. You might have this awesome vision of what you want your life to look like, how it would affect you and others around you, but you're going to say, I don't have the money. And you're going to say, I don't have the time. And you're going to say, I don't have the skills. And you're going to say, I'm not emotionally sound enough. And you're going to say, those are the most common things. But then you're going to do this incredible rationalization behind why you're saying, I don't have money, I don't have time, I don't have skills, I don't have the emotional maturity. You're going to do amazing mental gymnastics to find the rationale for making those claims against yourself so that you make it a little easier to live with yourself. And that kind of self-protection is like, it's the ultimate art at ripping yourself off before the thief on the streets could even touch you. And I mean, the thief on the streets is enough, but now we got to worry about ourselves. Oh my God. So that's why I like getting out of the business of that kind of auto protection. It doesn't serve us and it doesn't serve anybody around us. So instead of falling into that trap of this incredible mental gymnastics of rationalizing not having time, not having money, I'd like to do all these things, I'd love my life to look like XYZ, and others around me and myself will be affected in this way, but I can't because I don't have money. Here's why. I don't have time. Here's the mental gymnastics I came up with to come up with a rationalization for that logic, and I don't have the skills, and here's the mental gymnastics I did to come up with that rationale, and all these other things. So don't fall into that trap of the mental gymnastics to support such nonsensical bullshit claims about money, time, skills, emotional, whatever, background, history, so on and so forth, whatever it is that you've done. And you have to recognize that first. Otherwise, if you don't recognize it, you're probably not going to solve that problem. And to recognize that takes a lot of humility. That takes a stripping down of an ego. Because an ego is all about self-protection. It really is. And so there's no balance between ego and humility. But to be able to criticize yourself constructively and have a vision for yourself of what your life could look like if you refined your personal philosophy, your belief system, because if you don't refine your personal belief, what you believe in your philosophy, then you're not going to change your behaviors and you're not going to get out of the mental gymnastics business, because what you think and how you think drives what you do, which drives the results in your life. It also drives if you're going to change a pattern. It also drives if you're going to change a pattern more than 5 minutes, or if you're going to quit like most people quit. They get started on something. So then maybe you might want to ask yourself, this is a driver for you. Do you want to be like most people? Most people are saying they have money. Most people are saying money is not important, even though they're lying through their teeth. Most people are liars. Most people are saying they don't have time. Most people are coming up with the rationalization to say those bullshit claims. Most people get started on something important and they don't see it through. So if you're unusually successful in whatever that looks like for you, because it's your life, if you want to be unusually successful, you do the exact opposite of what most people are doing, and it is guaranteed. It's imminent. It's imminent. It will happen. There's no question about it. I mean, try it. Do it for a full year. Be faithful with that line of thinking for a full year. Then you come back and tell me that I'm full of shit. You won't be able to do it. You'll be like, holy crap, Tom, you were right. All I had to do was start doing the exact opposite of most people and get my mental gymnastics for my claim. And now if I'm not already there, I'm already so much closer to this life that I dream of what it would look like if I made these changes. So, damn. Doesn't that sound like more fun than saying I don't have money, don't have time, don't have skills, don't have emotional maturity? Maybe you need to say yes to a business opportunity to get what you want. Maybe you need to say yes to a new diet, a new healthy, more natural lifestyle. Maybe you need to say yes to some teachers that could teach you something that know more than you about a certain particular subject. Maybe you need to say yes to some certain books that maybe you've been putting off. Maybe there's certain daily actions or rituals that you need to start saying yes to that you've said no to. Maybe you have a too good to be true kind of bullshit attitude that you certainly did mental gymnastics for to come up with that one, too good to be true. Who knows what it is? Maybe you need to start saying yes to things you've been saying no to all along, like constructively criticizing your own beliefs so that you can refine them and make them better, so that you can drive better behavior and get a better result. Like Christella said just now in our little conversation here, get out of your comfort zone. Maybe you've been saying no to getting out of your comfort zone. That's a big one. That can take on a lot of different forms, but maybe you need to say yes to jumping out of your comfort zone. Maybe 1 foot at a time, or maybe both feet. Maybe a few steps out. I don't know, but something outside of there. I don't know what it is. Maybe you need to start saying yes to working out every day. Maybe if you don't know how to do something, maybe you need to say yes to, okay, I need to start figuring it out. Maybe you need to say no to mental gymnastics and yes to opportunity and no to excuses. And maybe you need to start forbidding. Forbidding is a good word because it insinuates danger. But maybe you need to start forbidding yourself from ever saying the words, I can't afford, or I don't have time ever again. Like ever. Because it goes back to most people, they're saying those things. Most people are just telling it how it is. And they keep it how it is. They do. Stop telling it how it is, and I bet it stops staying as it is, and it probably gets better. So those are just some ideas for you. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Christella. Thanks for that advice about comfort zone. Hi, Linda. Damn, these hearts are freaking cool. Hi, Kathy. I'm glad you enjoy my perspective. Oh, here's a big one. Hi, Gail. Hi, Mary. Maybe you just need to start saying yes to consistency. Maybe you're afraid of failing, so you don't get started on something. Maybe you need to say yes to, okay, I'm going to fail fast and I'm going to fail often because each time there's a lesson to learn and I can monetize that every time. So then now it's, okay, I'm either going to win or I'm going to learn. So either way, I'm winning. So now I'm eager to get in and fail. You know, I've made more mistakes than almost anybody. And I've made more breakthroughs than almost anybody. It goes with the deal, man. If you're not willing to get in, get started, and fail fast and fail often, then you're probably not going to get to be one of those people that gets to have the next big breakthrough. So maybe you need to say yes to failing with the aim of figuring stuff out. Not just fail to fail, because that's stupid. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Linda. Hi, Peggy. Hi, Stacia. Always great to see you. Hi, Christine, Maureen, Kathy, another Lisa, a couple Lisas. Okay, I'm all caught up on comments now. Hi, Sandy. Mary says, I take leaps and bounds in many ways. I just want my body to cooperate. Awesome. So you know what you want. You should always recognize gaps in your life. So maybe you should say yes. Maybe for you, all of this would just be saying yes to recognizing gaps in your life. Like, here's where I'm at. Here's what I want. There's a gap between here and there with my health, with my wealth, with my freedom, with my emotional health, spiritual health, whatever it is. A skills gap. It's like, okay, now I know what I want. Here's this gap. Let's close that gap. And then let's celebrate once I close that gap. And then let's recognize a new gap and keep going, right? Because somebody said, I can't remember who, but somebody said, you're always going to find me either going up the mountain or standing on the top, but you'll never find me sliding back down an old mountain, or you'll find me dead. Yeah, that's what it was. You'll either find me going up the mountain or you'll find me dead on the side of the mountain, but you'll never find me sliding back down an old mountain. That's like give me liberty or give me death kind of hardcore. I love that stuff. Get your nose out of the way. Yeah, good one, Erica. My nose right here, right? It's big old Italian nose. I know that's not what you meant. We have to be careful what we say yes and what we say no to, right? Totally. So I love all the feedback from everybody. Oh yeah, forgot to plug in my website. I've got tons more of this stuff, TomBerkenmeyer.com. Just like it's spelled on my social media here, TomBerkenmeyer.com. I meant to give that much earlier when most people were still watching. So only the few of you will be privileged enough to have my website, because most people don't stick around a video that long. So TomBerkenmeyer.com, I've got thousands of pieces of content. Thousands! And I create new stuff regularly because it's so much fun. Because I don't have a job, so I can afford to work for free and do this kind of cool stuff and just perpetuate really great, very useful, helpful ideas that people can get a tremendous benefit from. I can afford to do that every day because I don't have a job, and it's wonderful. I appreciate all the hearts and likes, everybody. I like the hearts better because it's just more emotional. Thanks, Christella. Christella, you and I just met. It's been, even though we've only known each other not very long, a few days or so, I love your energy. I'm so glad that you and I are friends. Somehow the powers that be in the universe connected us. So you're pretty awesome, Christella. All of you are awesome. But Christella, I wanted to point out specifically because we just met just a few days ago. And she's got some great stuff on her page too. Just tell me no so I can move on. I like that way of looking at it, Erica. Okay, that sounds like you're talking about dating. It's like, you don't like me, just tell me no so I know, and I know to move on and not to ask you out anymore. Or maybe it's just me. Yeah, I'm a social dork. Thanks, Christella. I figured you would my content too because we're kind of on the same wavelength with all this kind of stuff. I have fired my nose. Awesome! Well, not all of them. There's some no's that are good, like when you start saying no to excuses and yes to opportunity. It's all about context. In the right context, no is good, or it could be bad. Same thing with saying yes. In the right context, yes is good. Same thing with stubbornness. I've talked about this before. Nah, comma, sales. Oh yeah, if someone is trying to sell you something you don't want, say no, thank you. If that's what you mean, Erica, I don't know. I fired my nose. Yeah, so I haven't fired my nose. I've fired my boss. What else have I fired? I don't know. I definitely haven't fired my nose. I guess I fired my excuses. I fired saying no in a bad context. Oh yeah, stubborn. Stubborn is kind of the same way. There's a time and place to be stubborn and a time and place to not be stubborn. Like sometimes being stubborn can save your life. Someone's offering you a bad deal and you know what's bad? Be stubborn, say no. On the other hand, maybe there's a belief you've had that you've been clinging on to, fighting tooth and nail, that hasn't been serving you or anybody else. Maybe it's time to not be stubborn with that belief anymore and be open to a new belief. So stubbornness and yeses and nos and all that stuff. Yeah, Sandy and everyone else, watch from the beginning because I pretty much opened. I didn't wait a couple minutes like I sometimes do for people to collect. And as soon as I click finish on this thing, it'll be available within a minute. Facebook is pretty fast at that. I am very stubborn, Mary says. Good. With intelligent discernment, be very stubborn. That's the whole key. To just be stubborn, to be arbitrarily stubborn, is not good. But if you make discernments, have the wisdom to know when to be stubborn and the wisdom to know when to be flexible, that's where it's at, right there. That's a good example of being able to stand on the edge of an issue. On the edge of a coin, there's 3 sides to every coin, or 3 sides to every issue. There's heads, there's tails, and then there's the edge where you can look at opposing ideas and have the wisdom to make discernments as to when to be on what side, so to speak, and take in the whole big picture. Stubbornness is a great example of a 3-sided issue or a 3-sided coin, to stand on the edge and decide, okay, is it wise to be stubborn now, or is it wise to be flexible here, instead of just either or? And that's another example of most people. In politics, religion, and stubbornness, people are either one or the other, just a blanket style. And that's not good because we have critical thinking faculties we've been blessed with as a human species. And when we pick a side that we're always that side, no matter what, then we're surrendering our critical thinking faculties. And that's, that works with everything. That's why I'm neither Republican or Democrat. I'm neither socialist or capitalist. I'm neither stubborn or flexible. I'm all of those things. It's about time and place issue. That's why you messaged me the other day. You knew I'd say no, but you had to ask. Erica McGee, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Maybe I missed a message. So if you could do me a favor and message me that again. I don't know what it is. Excuses, procrastination, ego. Yeah, say no to all those things. Don't quit. Quitting ages your soul. Oh yeah, I just got away from an anti-aging getaway cruise. And to put that in context, it's not about anti-aging. It's about anti-aging the way most people age. And we're learning about how to look and feel younger and more youthful as we get older. And quitting on your dreams certainly ages your soul and your mind and your body. I mean, empirically and metaphysically, quitting on things important, it just ages you all around. Figuring stuff out, the meaningful stuff, and never giving up, that's youthful, man. That gives you energy, invigorates you every day because you're always figuring stuff out. All right, Mary, cool. Sandy says exactly. Okay, so it was fun hanging out with you guys after I talked for a while about this very important topic matter. Share this, get it out there, perpetuate this great idea. I love these great ideas that can help people, that are actually useful, ideas that people can actually start doing today. At the moment that they hear it, there can be a light bulb that goes off, and you never know who it's going to affect that way. So share it if you feel this is worthy of sharing and can have that kind of impact on anybody and your friends on your Facebook. Okay, share, and keep the conversation going. I'll check back later today after the live feed is over, and many more thousands of pieces of content at tomberkenmeyer.com. All right, bye for now, everybody. Mwah. Thank you, Christella, for sharing.